you for everybody for joining us. My name is Sarah Pawinski, and I'm a program manager with Earth Echo International. So thank you for including us in this great opportunity today for World Water Day. Our organization is based in Washington, D.C., but we do programs all over the world. And today being World Water Day, I'm actually in Miami, Florida right now. And we just did a program with about 130 youth here in Miami, and had some satellite events happening all over the U.S. So thank you for giving us a chance to kind of talk about some of our programming and some opportunities for people to get involved. So as I said, the organization I work with is Earth Echo International. We're an environmental education nonprofit that was founded by Philippe and Alexandre Cousteau in honor of their father, Philippe Sr., and grandfather, Jacques Cousteau. And really our main mission is to inspire young people worldwide to act now for a sustainable future. And so our belief is really that youth have the power to change our planet, and we have a number of programs where we engage youth all over the world to take action and take charge in making efforts to change the direction of what's happening environmentally here on our planet. We have 4 key programs. We have our STEM Explore program, which is an opportunity to really look at in depth with some of the careers out there in the STEM fields, and this is video vignettes as well as some resources online that talk about different STEM careers, and we profile a number of STEM experts throughout the world doing some really cool things, and all of these interviews typically take place with our founder, Philippe Cousteau, and the programming that he does all over the world. Another program that we have is Earth Echo's Youth Leadership Program, Youth Leadership Council, and this is something that is fairly new to us, only has been around for a couple of years, but this is such a key program within our organization, and it's a chance for us to give emerging visionaries and youth who are doing things in the environmental space a chance to progress not only themselves, but the types of programs that they're really interested in, and mobilize their peers as well as their communities to change the world. And so this is roughly 15 people from across the world that are ages 15 to 22. And like I said, this is a fairly new program for us, been around for a couple of years now, but we are now accepting applications for youth to join the Youth Leadership Council. So you can go to our website and www.earthecho.org and see the link there to be able to look at what the requirements are and how to apply for this program. And that application period is open until April 22nd. So again, www.earthecho.org, and you can learn more about the Youth Leadership Council requirements and apply through April 22nd is when we're taking applications for that. Our final 2 programs are the Earth Echo Water Challenge and our Earth Echo Expeditions program. And the Earth Echo Water Challenge program is really what I'm going to focus on for this presentation today. That's the program that I really manage and engage youth all over to get involved in a citizen science type activity. And this is an opportunity for youth, individuals, adults, groups, classrooms, organizations to look at monitoring the health of their local water systems and share their results with us through an international database, and then take some sort of action to restore and protect their water resources. And it's something that an individual can do, a group of people can do, and a very easy program for anyone to get involved and really play a critical role in changing the health of the waterways and water resources in their own communities. So as I said, the program I'm kind of going to focus on today for this presentation is the Earth Echo Water Challenge. As I said, it's a citizen science program for monitoring water. It's something that runs annually from March 22nd through December 31st every year. So today, it being World Water Day, we kick off the monitoring year, and this is a very big day for us. And so we had events here in the Miami area where I am right now, as well as all over the world, that we have worked with different groups kick off this monitoring season and go out into their local communities and monitor the health of their water. Since the program started, about 1.4 million participants from 143 countries around the world have taken part in this program. And what we really say is that the program has 3 steps: test, share, and protect. So get a water kit, and I'll talk a little bit more about that here in a second, and go out and test the health of your local waterways. Share your information. We have an international database where you can share your stories, your photos, and your data with us so that you can look at what's happening in your region over time as well as compared to other regions. And then now that you're armed with this information, how can you as participants and citizens and groups look at that information and take some action in your community to protect and restore anything that is happening with water resources in your community? So again, these events can be single day to ongoing, citizen science, corporate industry partners, community outreach. It's really a chance to engage people at all levels in a variety of different ways in what's happening with water resources in their community. So we have a water quality test kit that we use for this program. It's a very basic test kit. You can go to monitorwater.org, the website for the program, and find the link to be able to purchase one of these kits. But you can also, if you have a test kit available to you or a probe that you're using, you don't have to use our kit. You can use any monitoring kit that you have available to you and still enter your data into our web portal. But we do have a test kit that you can buy. This basic test kit tests for 4 basic water quality indicators. It looks at temperature of the water, turbidity of the water, so how clear or how cloudy the water is, as well as the amount of dissolved oxygen and the pH. So 4 basic indicators to look at the health of that of a local water system or water source. And then coming probably by mid-year, July, August timeframe, we're also going to be adding a couple of nutrient tests to this, and that would be for phosphate and nitrate. So again, very simplistic. This is a really easy to use kit that we have available at monitorwater.org, but you don't have to use our kit if you have other resources available to you. So again, this test kit, super easy to use. One thing we like to point out is that this program is to look at testing the health of surface water sources, not tap water. So it's not something that you're going to go and use in your household to look at whether you can drink the water or not. This is for looking at monitoring surface water sources, so rivers, lakes, streams, bays, that sort of thing. And it doesn't mean that that body of water isn't feeding a water source. You know, here in the United States, over half of us are getting our water, or water that's coming out of the tap was eventually a surface water source somewhere and has been used by a public water system. Internationally, there are a number of people who their water source is a groundwater source, an aquifer, or is a lake or a river nearby that they're pulling their water from. So this is something that we're doing to monitor the health of those surface water sources. There's 2 basic kits that you can get. The first one is a basic kit. It comes with, like what's in this picture here, 1 set of hardware, so a monitoring jar, and all of the test tubes and reagents that you need, and that is 1 set of hardware and enough reagents to do 50 tests. So it's something that you can do again and again and again, or in multiple locations. We also sell a classroom kit. So if you're working with a group that you want to have youth or participants in small groups, we have a classroom kit that has 5 sets of hardware and 50 tests. So again, something that can be used multiple times. Buy it once and use it multiple times. And this is a chance for everybody to kind of break into small groups and still have the opportunity to manipulate the parameters and use the equipment. We say ideal size if you're working in a group is 5 to 10 participants per small group. So just want to kind of walk through why this is important. I'm sure being World Water Day, you've heard a lot of these things, but as you're thinking about why it's important to talk about our surface water sources, I usually start by talking with people about, how do you use water every day? And most of the time they talk about drinking water and brushing our teeth and washing our hands and doing dishes and doing laundry and that sort of thing. But we also want to talk about the fact that water is used for a number of other things, recreation, swimming, boating, fishing, manufacturing, farming, agriculture, industry. All of these things use water, and water is a very finite resource on the earth. While we are covered in water, 97% of the Earth covered in water, very small percentage of that is actually available and ready for us to use in these surface water sources. So water is in everything, from the clothes you wear to the consumables that you eat, and obviously the water that you drink. But also it's important to us for the quality of life and that we like to have. So water is used for everything and in everything. So it's important because it's used for so many different things, but how do we know if water is clean, or how do we know if it is something that's healthy? We can test it. We can monitor it, we can observe it and participate as a citizen and a community member. We can care about the water resources in our region. So I usually compare testing water quality to like going to the doctor for a checkup. Doctor performs routine tests when you're there. They're looking at your throat, your reflexes, your heartbeat, maybe getting your weight, your height, all these different things. And over time, if something is outside its normal range, or it is not in a parameter in what it should be, then more tests or special care might be needed. So if you have a high temperature, you have a fever, and something else is going on, and you need to figure out what the impact of that is on you. Same thing for our water resources. If a pH is way out of a normal range, do some investigation to figure out what might be causing it, and how can you as a citizen or a community member, an individual group, whatever it is that you're working in, how can you then take special care and take action in your community to solve an issue that is happening in your local water resources. So as I said, the kit that we use has 4 parameters. So we're going to just walk through those parameters and talk a little bit about why they're important and some of the key indicators for these 4 parameters. So temperature tells us how hot or how cold water is, obviously. The test kit has a test strip that you attach to the outside of the sample jar, like you see in this picture here. And they work very much like a mood ring, if you're familiar with that. Once you submerge the test jar in water, one of the numbers is going to turn green, and that's the number that you'll use to record the temperature of your water. And temperature is important because of a number of factors. Too high of a temperature can affect the oxygen in the water, and just like you and I need oxygen to breathe, organisms and things that live in the water need oxygen. So temperature fluctuations really impact the organisms that are living in that water. Temperature can change for a number of reasons. Water released from factories or industry in your area, the removal of trees and plants along a riverbank or around the shore of a lake or a bay can cause changes in temperature, and runoff from city streets or urbanization in your area can cause some temperature changes and fluctuations as well. And seasonal temperature changes, seasons also impact temperature, but again, that's something that you can expect as you are monitoring at different points throughout the year. You can compare and contrast what's happening with your temperature. The second parameter that we test for is turbidity, and as I said, this is how clear or how cloudy water is, not necessarily how dirty the water is or how dirty it looks, or it's how clear or how cloudy. So you're looking at what's suspended in that water, and you use what we call a Secchi disc. That's this white and black circle that you see here, and you compare how well you can see that disc in the bottom of your sample container to the test card that comes as part of your kit. So what can make water turbid or increase turbidity? Runoff is a very big indicator of turbidity as well as erosion. So if you have a bank of a river that is eroding away, you're going to have a lot more sediment in that river, and that can impact turbidity, as well as a lot of boat traffic in an area or algal blooms can affect your turbidity. And turbidity is important because more particulates in the water can make it difficult for organisms to live in that water. It also can block light in the water, and that can impact your productivity and photosynthetic ability of organisms that are living in that water. The third test that we look at is pH, so how acidic or how basic or alkaline the water is. And this is something where you collect your water sample and use one of the reagent tablets that come as part of the kit, and it will change color based on the pH of the water, and this you compare it to your color chart to look at what the pH of the water is. pH is important because aquatic organisms that are in water really prefer a finite range of pH. Typical pH range that aquatic organisms prefer is about a 6.5 to an 8. And pH outside that range can cause die-offs, as well as organisms to stop reproducing, that sort of thing, and can impact what's living in that water, as well as the productivity of a freshwater or a surface water source. And pH is changed by acid rain. Air pollution is a big indicator of pH changes. Wastewater discharges, so if you have a treatment plant, pH can be highly impacted from that. And then there is some normal runoff from some sediment in an area or a region that can impact your pH. So again, something to think about, that if you see a very high or very low pH outside that 6.5 to 8 range, do some investigation about what's happening in your area that might be causing some impacts in your local water sources. And then the final fourth indicator that we look for is dissolved oxygen, and this is telling us how much oxygen is available within the water. And again, just like you need oxygen to breathe, organisms that are in the water need oxygen, and this is a big key indicator that we often see changes not only seasonally, but it's one of the things that you can really start to visually see changes within a water source if your dissolved oxygen is very low. So what changes dissolved oxygen? Warm water and warm temperatures can change your level of dissolved oxygen. High levels of bacteria can change the level of dissolved oxygen. Large amounts of rotting plants or algal blooms can change your oxygen levels. And this is important for a number of things. Oxygen and temperature kind of go hand in hand. Like I said, organisms need oxygen. Water can become very stagnant, and you can see things die off. And so oxygen is a key indicator in that there may be some issues occurring in your local water sources. This is also where, again, observation comes into play. So if you are out testing in your community, observe what's happening around you, take some photos, and look at what's happening around you to be able to then make some deductions about how healthy that area is, or some changes that might need to be made. And then that second step in this process is entering your data into our web portal, so that you can track what's happening in different sites that you monitor over time, as well as compare your data to different regions around the world. And so you can enter that information into our web portal. We have a smartphone app, as well as a web portal that can be used on any web browser, and you can get to that through www.monitorwater.org. This is, like I said, just a quick sort of way to really get engaged. You know, today being World Water Day, World Water Day is really about taking action and tackling what's happening with water crises around the world. And a lot of times I think individuals, specifically young people, don't know quite where to start in some of these really big world issues. And getting involved in a citizen science program like this, and there's a number of others that are out there, but getting involved in a citizen science program is really a great opportunity to engage in what's happening in the water crisis in your own community and make it relevant to where you live and what you are doing. So wherever you are and whatever you do, you know, make it about water and care about what's happening with our water resources, and get engaged in the growing movement of citizen science and activism around water resource topics. So my contact information is here, as well as our website. So earthecho.org is our organizational website. And monitorwater.org is the website that's available for specifically the EarthEcho Water Challenge. But if you're interested in any of our programmatic resources, you can find them on earthecho.org. It will also have links to monitorwater.org. Again, one of the things I wanted to stress is that our Youth Leadership Council is currently accepting applications for new applicants, and we would love to see some of the young people that are engaged in this initiative to apply and become engaged in events with us. We had, I think, about 8 of them doing events with us around the world today, one with me here in Miami, and a number across different regions doing some live monitoring on our social media. So if you're interested in what some of those individuals are doing, you can go to our Facebook page and see some of the live events that happened today, and broadcasting some of those live monitoring events today. I guess I'll see, go back to our main page here and see if people have any questions or if there's other resources and information I can share while I know we have some additional time. So.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Sarah. We've been monitoring the chat and the Q&A for questions. And there was one, and it's from Jordan, and it says, are you able to test the water if it had high levels of lead?
That's a great question, and lead is something that has become very much prevalent in the media today, and I think there was just a story today about lead in water in California now, and so this kit specifically looks at surface water sources, and in surface water sources you wouldn't necessarily have a lot of lead. There are other kits that you can get where you're going to monitor your tap water and look for content of lead. Most of lead that is going to be in water is going to come from the distribution pipes, so the systems that are supplying water to your homes or your businesses, but there are test kits that are available. Our website has a number of resources of other companies that produce test kits, and a number of them would have test kits that you can buy for lead. And the 4 parameters that we test for, dissolved oxygen, pH, temperature, and turbidity, these are just 4 very basic parameters in this kit. There are a number of different things that you can test for when you're looking at water quality. Lead is something obviously in drinking water and things that are coming out of your tap, but there's a number of different things. Bacteria and nutrients are 2 big key factors as well that come out of that are important for looking at water quality. This kit is just a starting point to do that investigation. Like I said, if you are going to the doctor and something is askew, you're going to do some deeper dive, and a lot of times bacteria and nutrients are a little bit more intensive in monitoring, and we can that's a good thing to do in a deeper dive within some of the testing that you're going to do. Or if you have access to other kits, there's kits that have a more harsh chemicals that you use, this kit is all non-toxic, easy to dispose of, and fairly inexpensive. But if you have access to another kit that you can use, or you want to have something that's a little bit more specific to a region that you're in, you can use any test kit or any probe available and test the water in your region. And again, still share your data with us, and then that way you can track it over time and look at comparing what's happening not only in your region but other regions around the world, and be part of this big movement of citizens getting engaged in water quality.
Great. Thanks so much, Sarah. I don't see any other questions, which usually tells me presenters are doing really thorough jobs. So I want to thank you personally for being part of this inaugural Ripples Make Waves. Earth Echo is an amazing organization. Hopefully I still have you.
Yep, I'm still here.
I just got this error that I was being kicked out of the meeting. So, oh no, maybe it was your screen. Are you still on screen share? No, you're not. So I just wanted to say thank you for the work that you do, for being part of it. And it's World Water Day today. So what better way to bring people together over water? It unites us, it orients us, it sustains us. So thank you so much to Earth Echo for your commitment to this event, and enjoy the rest of World Water Day.
Thank you. Have a good one, everyone.
And I'm going to keep my mic on because that's